Hi everyone. Just to let you know about my day. Pretty terrible day. What happened was, so I left. I'm in the train right now, going back to Chantilly, so I'll explain that in a bit. But I left the campsite around 10 because Nice was only an hour away, so why bother? So I went there slowly, and then I made the video halfway through, and cycleway was perfect. Like, it was just for bicycles, and so it was really easy to follow. Really busy. Well, I guess it's Saturday, isn't it? So I guess it would be busy with people, but really easy to use, very straightforward. And then I kept trying to contact my bank because my card is supposed to get to Menton, which is really, I could have done it today because it's only 3 hours from Nice. But I need to know that my card is there, otherwise it's useless. And so I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the video, but the whole deal was that the card was in Chantilly, and my banker was supposed to send it to Valence, but then she sent it to Lyon instead. And then when I went to Lyon, they told me, we don't have your card. It hasn't come yet, even though it's been 5 days, or it's been a week. They're like, it usually takes about like 5 working days. Come back later. I said, no, I'm not gonna come back later. How about you send it on? You send it to Menton, and I'll wait a day or two. I'll figure it out. But then I realized, like, even if I were to wait a day or two, right, and they told me, well, we'll call you when we get it, and then we'll send it on. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. They never called. So I was trying to contact my banker, and nobody's getting back to me. I'm getting super frustrated. In the end, what I ended up doing, because I didn't know what to do, I wanted to know where the card was, I just went to a branch of the bank and said, okay, listen, I need to know, it's noon, you close at 12:30, I need to know where my card is. And so she's like, okay, well, let's call Lyon. So she calls Lyon, and after like several attempts, she gets a person that tells her, nope, the card is not here, we did not send it on because we never got it. So then she's like, okay, well, you know what, let's call Chantilly, let's see what's going on in Chantilly. So she calls Chantilly, and after several attempts, she finally gets someone, and they're like, it's right here, we have it. So then my options were, do I tell them to send it to Menton, knowing that it's going to take 5 working days, so I'm basically going to spend a week in Menton, or do I come back to Chantilly? And that's what I decided to do. So I got myself a train ticket and made my way to Chantilly, and then I'm going to use this time to do another passport and to do another driving license and to do, like, basically just try to get a lot of the things I lost, try to get them back. And that's about it. So the train ride was quite eventful in that as soon as I was one of the first people on the train. But as soon as I got in, I put my things away, and this lady's like, where are you sitting? I look at my train ticket, I'm like 54. She's like, that's not possible. And I'm like, what? So I go back again. I'm like, no, 50, it says here 11 to 58. 54 should be in this wagon. And she walks all the way down, and she's like, oh, it's right here at the back. I'm like, oh, okay. And then she goes, can I sit next to you? And there's literally no one else on this wagon. And I feel rude being like, no. So I'm like, oh, okay, sure. So I sit down, and she sits down next to me, and one of the first things she says is, I'm homeless, and I can't work because I have medical issues. Something along those lines. Like, okay. And so we just start talking. She has a 17-year-old son who lives with his dad, and she's trying to find a job, but she can't find a job because she's homeless. And it just goes, it was just a lot. At some point she asked, she's like, oh right. And like the 10-minute span that we were there, like waiting on the train platform, she goes and she smokes twice, and then every so often she would just go back and smoke in the bathroom, even though it's completely illegal. She would just go back, smoke in the bathroom. Okay, next one. My next one is my train stop. And she would go back and prepare another cigarette and go back to the bathroom. And she tells me, "Oh right, and I don't have a ticket." Oh gosh. So by this time, and then she's like, "You know what? If I had a coffee, I would sleep. I would write this letter I need to write, and then I would sleep. Do you have €2?" I'm like, "Sure." So I find €2, and then she's like, "Yeah, and I need like 10 to find somewhere to sleep in Paris." I'm like, "No, like I'm really sorry. I'm gonna give you €2, but I have my own money trouble at the moment. That's it." So she's like, "Okay, no, thank you for the coffee, thank you." So she goes for the coffee, comes back, she's like, "It's $2.60." I'm like, "Fine." So I just give her the extra 60 cents. And she goes, and then I don't know. She goes and comes back, and there's this couple on the other side of the train, and they're laughing, like they're like, who is this lady? And she left her, I'm not sure if it's a diary or what, like it had maybe 5 pages written in. So like when she was gone, I kind of look over, and it's just really straight. She says, "I'm going to," and then she wrote the place, because at the beginning she wanted to go to Lyon, but I was like, okay, and but the train station in Paris is called Gare de Lyon, and so I thought she meant Gare de Lyon. So I was like, "Oh yeah, that's where we're going." And then she's like, "Oh," and then when the train started, she's like, "Ooh, I wanted to go to Lyon, or maybe I'll go to Marseille. This train is going." So she's she was just a handful about like where she was going. So yeah, I look at her diary, and she's like, "I'm going to," and then there's Lyon. It was crossed out. And then it was Marseille, and it was crossed out, and then it was Paris. And I think at that time she was still going to Paris. So she's going to Paris. She's going off to smoke probably again. Oh no, to get her coffee. She comes back with her coffee. She drinks her coffee. She smells more like coffee now. She gets candy from the couple behind us, or I guess next to her. Oh right, and then at some point she leaves and comes back with this guy who has like orange hair, like he's Middle Eastern looking, but he has orange hair, like obviously dyed. And they just start talking like okay conversation, so I'm not sure how they knew each other, and I was pretending to read my book. I didn't want to take part of the conversation. But every so often, she would involve me in the conversation. She's like, "Yeah, did you see that guy miss the train? Hey, he missed the train." I was like, "Oh, what?" Pretending like I wasn't listening, but I was fully listening. I was really into it. So I put my book down and I joined the conversation a little bit. And then she left to go to the bathroom, and he was just there. So I had a chat with him, and he's actually quite nice. He's a waiter in Vincennes. And he was quite excited because Joey Star, who's like a famous French person, was at his restaurant a couple of years ago, and so really nice guy. And he had a train ticket. And she kept saying like, "Oh, I feel bad for not having a train ticket," but then I don't have a train ticket. I don't know. So it was very much like that. Then at some point she leaves. And then it just becomes a boring train ride. So then I think she left at Marseille. No, she didn't. So, right, the train controller comes and she disappears. The train controller comes, checks all the tickets, and so she just evaded him. And then the long part is going from Marseille to Paris. There's no stops in between because it goes really fast. And yeah, she comes halfway through, and there's this other lady sitting next to me. And she just grabs her things and she's like, "Okay, bye," and then she leaves. So I'm not sure what she did for the rest of the train ride. But yeah, and then finally get to Paris, and I have 30 minutes to get to Gare du Nord. So I try to hurry, and then I see that the RER is 17 minutes till it comes. So I'm like, okay, 17 minutes, I still have to give me another 10 minutes to get there. Should be okay. It comes with 10 minutes late. So I'm like, okay, can I still make it? So I was banking that it's going to be a little bit late. get out of the RER, go as fast as I can, show up 2 minutes late, it's gone. So then I had to go back down to the RER and catch the next one, which took another 20 minutes, and it's the one I'm on. But it was just a long day of train rides. And I'm finally in Chantilly, so I'm gonna stop the video and hopefully... Yeah, it's me. So I'm gonna go, but yeah, there was nothing really much to it after that. Oh, and to get to the RER, I was really tired and I couldn't be bothered to get a ticket because I was in a hurry. So I jumped the barrier both times, and at some point it was right in front of the police people and they didn't care. I didn't care. It was just nonsense. But anyways, I had my ticket to go through. It was just, yeah, it was just stupid. But such is life. Alright, this is my stop, so I have to go. Bye bye.